You do not have a weight loss problem. You have a lifestyle problem. And until you fix the way you live, including your habits, your sleep, your movement, and overall your identity, you'll keep on gaining back the same 20 pounds every single year. So today, I want to share with you how to never struggle with weight loss ever again, not by dieting harder, but by actually becoming the person who never has to diet ever again. So I have coached hundreds of busy men who used to think they just needed more discipline. But what they actually needed, but what actually changed everything, wasn't another meal plan. It was when they stopped acting like a fat person trying to lose weight and start thinking like a fit person maintaining their results. Because here's the truth: you cannot sustain the results of an athlete if you still have the mindset and identity of someone who's fat, obese, and overweight. Sounds quite logical. So, in today's video, I'll break down exactly how to rewire your habits, your environment, and your identity so weight loss becomes easy and automatic, and most importantly, actually sustainable so you can keep the weight off for good. So, let's start with part number one: stop chasing quick fixes. Most of you watching right now, there's a reason why you clicked on this title, right? You are the type of person who just wants shortcuts. You do the detox teas, the keto diets, the fasting, the Ozempic, you name it. But every single one of these methods, all they really do is they slap a band-aid over the same old habits. You lose weight and then you gain it all back again because nothing about you actually changed as a person. So there's actually been this study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that found that over 80% of dieters regain their weight back again within the year. That is 80% of people who try to lose weight on a diet, 80% of them gain it all back again, if not more. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, why or how's that even possible? Just sit down and think about it because their identity stayed the exact same. A fat person on a diet still eats emotionally, skips their sleep, avoids movement, and seeks comfort through food. Whereas a fit person naturally moves more, eats real food, and actually respects their body. So until you become the latter, no plan will save you. If you're currently overweight, I challenge you, go to a run club. Put yourself in an environment where you're surrounded by fit people and just kind of people watch. Just look at their behavior, see what they do, say what they do differently, and then compare that to now being around a group of people who aren't fit, right? Maybe it's gamers, partiers, junk food eaters. I don't even know. Yeah, a group of people who just do the opposite of being fit, and just people watch and look at the exact difference. So basically, hang around your current group of friends who are likely also overweight and obese, and then compare that to being around a group of people who are fit. So join a run club, go to a run club, see what they do, and then compare that to your current group of friends, and just look at the different behaviors, mindsets, even the way they talk, their ideas, just everything. And you will notice a huge night and day difference, not in some small little things, but mainly in their identity, right? Because you join a run club, you start talking to some people, you're gonna be hearing people talk about like, oh, like I just ran a marathon, I'm doing this like Ironman coming up, I just ate this healthy meal. Do you want to go grab this healthy um, breakfast, go to this breakfast place, get a healthy meal after a run? Do you want to go to the swimming pool? Do you want to be physically active? Do you want to go on this hike? Like you'll hear conversations like that in a room full of fit people. Whereas if you put yourself in a room full of not fit people, overweight people, obese people, you're going to be talking about sports. You're going to be talking about highlights. You're going to be talking about, oh, what kind of junk food should we order tonight? Should we go for pizza or burgers? Ooh, good question. Should we go for Domino's or Pizza Hut? You'll have drastically different conversations just by simply the type of people that you talk to and the type of people that you actually live with. So that moves me on to part number two: redefine your eating habits. Your body is a straight reflection of your eating patterns and not your willpower. Fit people do not rely on motivation, they rely on systems. I talk about this all the time, but I cannot remember the last time I was motivated to eat a healthy meal, to do meal prep, to do my grocery shop, to even do a workout. It's like I don't always feel motivated to do it. Sure, from time to time, if I have maybe some pre-workout, I have some caffeine, or I go with one of my buddies to the gym, sure, I may hype myself up a bit. But 80%, if not 90% of the time, it's just me living my life because it's part of my identity. It is part of who I am. It is part of my routine. And more importantly, it is actually in my calendar. One of, if not the greatest hacks I can give you right now is if something is a priority in your life right now, let's say you want to lose some weight and you want to start exercising, you want to start going to the gym 2 or 3 times, 4 times a week, you want to start meal prepping, eating healthier, put it pen and paper onto something. Either use a Google Calendar, which I'm a huge fan of. I use it every single day, or you can do the old school fashioned way and just have a notepad and you just literally write down your schedule, your to-do list, whatever you want to do. Because if you write something down, it's almost like scheduling something in whenever you go to work. Like you do not miss going to work because it's likely in your calendar, it's in your schedule, you get reminded of it, your boss reminds you of it, your coworkers remind you of it. So if you can use this exact same framework and implement it and apply it to your health and your fitness goals, you will notice that you won't be skipping the gym as much or won't be skipping your meals as much because you've written it down. Hopefully you have some external accountability. You got someone else to hold you accountable so that even if you decide to slack off, someone else will say, hey, why are you slacking off? Where are you? We're at the gym right now. We're doing our meal prep right now. Where are you at? Right? Having that accountability is so, so crucial. And writing things down is an absolute game changer. So if you have priorities in your life and you do not write them down, I suggest you start writing them down because the likelihood of you slacking off and forgetting are going to be much, much, much lower. So like I said, people, especially fit people, do not rely on motivation. They just rely on very simple systems that they can implement into their lifestyle effortlessly. They eat single ingredient foods. They cook mostly at home. They stop eating when they're satisfied and not stuffed. That is one of the biggest things. A lot of overweight people have the habit of constantly eating despite maybe feeling full. Maybe you grew up as a kid and your parents told you that, hey, you have to finish your plate or else you'll get punished. And now as an adult, you obviously go to a restaurant and unfortunately in the US, the serving sizes are massive, way too big to honestly be realistic for most people to actually eat in one sitting. But because you've been taught from childhood, since you were a kid, to always have to finish your plate, otherwise you're being rude or whatever it may be, you have been taught to always finish your plate. But if you can rewire your mind into stopping to eat whenever you just feel full and satisfied, you're going to be slashing a bunch of calories. And so this is something that the Japanese people do actually really, really well. They have this specific saying, I forget what it actually is, but they actually have a rule where they eat until they are 80% full. Like it is almost like part of their religion where if you eat, if you overeat, if you eat past 80% full, it's like a sin. It's like that is punishment, overeating, feeling overly stuffed. Whereas in the US, it's the exact opposite. It's like you cannot leave the dinner table until you are stuffed. And I think this is just such a horrible way of eating because you should not leave a meal not being able to go on a run, go on a sprint at least 80% of the time. Like, sure, sometimes you may want to indulge a bit, but like you should not feel lethargic after eating. You should, instead of like feeling like you should nap after eating, you should feel energized. You should feel like, okay, this was great fuel. I feel re-energized. Like I needed that. I needed some protein. I needed some carbs. I needed some fats, a nice healthy meal. Now I can carry on with the rest of my day and be super productive again. I can crush that project at work. I can crush that workout. I can crush that run, as opposed to feeling stuffed, being in a food coma, laying down on the couch, and then just doing nothing. So if you can stop eating when you're satisfied, or sorry, if you can stop eating when you're super full and instead just stop eating when you're satisfied, you'll slash hundreds, if not thousands of calories just from your daily eating habits, from your daily diet, and you also feel a lot better. I can guarantee you that. And so the fit people, they build routines around food that also remove decision fatigue. So inside the Barbarian Squad, which is our online coaching program, we teach this by following some very simple rules. A 5-year-old could do it. Rule number 1 is eat 2 to 3 big meals, high protein meals per day, right? So generally speaking, breakfast, lunch, dinner, make sure that you eat those meals and incorporate a good quality source of protein, whether it's some lean chicken breast, some flank steak, 93 7 ground turkey, 96 4 ground beef, some Greek yogurt maybe. Protein powder is totally fine as well. Just a high quality source of protein in every single meal that you eat. Rule number 2, build each meal around real food. So once again, lean meats, lean proteins, fruits, veggies, and healthy fats. That is all you need. And then eliminate ultra processed foods that hijack your hunger, because the goal isn't restriction here. It's just reprogramming your default settings. And that will move me on to points number 3, which is master your sleep and recovery. I say this all the time, but people are sleeping on their sleep. And it is the easiest thing, especially if you're trying to lose body fat or just live a healthier lifestyle. The easiest thing anyone can start doing right away tonight, as soon as you're done watching this live stream, is to go to bed, close your eyes for 8 hours, and then that is it. That is literally it. No willpower required. Turn off that stupid phone before bed. You don't need that blue lights right before going to bed. Maybe have like a nice little wind down routine 30 minutes before. Take a warm shower, do some meditating, do some journaling, do some stretching. Just prime your body to put yourself in a sleepy state, and then just close your eyes for 7 to 9 hours. I guarantee you that will fix most of your issues, because sleep isn't just sleep. It does so much more than just having you be unconscious for 8 hours. Because if you sleep like crap, guess what? You'll crave eating like crap. Lack of sleep elevates ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and it also lowers leptin, which is the satiety hormone. And studies have shown that just one night of poor sleep can increase cravings by up to 25%. Now, when my clients start going to bed earlier, managing their stress levels, and getting 7 to 8 hours consistently, their hunger normalizes, their energy rises, and fat loss happens effortlessly. Because once again, if you get great sleep every single night, your cravings will reduce, your satiety levels will increase. So after eating, you actually feel nice and satisfied a lot sooner, as opposed to constantly craving junk food and then continuously keep eating because you never truly feel satisfied. And on top of that too, all the hyper processed junk food just makes you want to eat even more of it, right? So you're literally shooting yourself in the foot by being sleep deprived, making poor food choices. Therefore, that leads you to overeating. So sleep is not optional. It is mandatory. It is your foundation. So let's move over to part number 4. Move like it's a lifestyle. You do not need to live in the gym, but you do need to move every single day, because the most successful transformations don't come from 6 workouts a week. They come from building a lifestyle that revolves around movement. So a couple small little examples that you can hopefully start implementing right away. Walk after every single one of your meals. Something my friends and I like to do is something called a post-digestion walk. So essentially, as soon as you're done eating your meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, even a snack too, go on a quick walk outside. Just 5 minutes up and down the roads, wherever you are. 5 minutes, it'll help aid in digestion, which will help digest the food a lot sooner, and you'll just burn some extra calories as well. Second point here, lifting weights 2 to 4 times a week. You don't need to be living in a gym. You don't need to do 6, 7 workouts every single day of the week. Just 2 whole body workouts is all you really need. If you want to scale it up to 3 or 4 workouts, also totally cool, but 2 workouts minimum. Resistance training, progressively overloading, trying to get stronger over time is going to give you a huge benefit. And then another thing here is take the stairs. Be the type of person who takes the stairs instead of the elevator. Be the type of person who parks a bit further away from the gym, from the grocery store, from work, so that you can get some extra steps in. Just be that person. Shift your identity to walking more. Be the walker. Be that guy who walks a lot, right? Shift your identity. Make those small little lifestyle habits. This is how you can turn exercise into someone who you are as a person. So at Barbarian Physique, we focus on strength, longevity, and daily movement, and not punishment. Because when movement becomes your identity, you never fall off ever again. I view myself, my identity, as someone who has a high step count. I view myself as someone who works out, goes to the gym. I view myself as someone who is a healthy eater. And hopefully, if my friends, if you guys, my followers, my subscribers, if you think of me, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Do you think of alcohol? Do you think of booze? Do you think of a fat person? Or do you think of fit, marathon runner, sub 315 marathon runner? competed in 2 bodybuilding shows, eats healthy all the time. There's a super active, healthy, high energetic lifestyle, is super handsome, is sexy. Okay, maybe not those things. But if you think of me, if you think of my name, you should associate myself with eating healthy, with exercising, hopefully, right? And that is because I am not searching for quick fixes. I'm not just doing this for 6 weeks, for 6 months, and then going back to my old habits again when I used to be a chubby kid eating junk food all the time. Like, no, when I meant through my own transformation from being a fat, chubby kid, insecure, I made an identity shift where, yes, it took a bit longer, but because it took a bit longer, I was able to not only build the habits I needed to get the six-pack abs that I wanted, but I was now, as you can clearly tell, been able to maintain those six-pack abs year round, year after year. I always have six-pack abs because I've gone through the journey. I've built up the habits necessary, not just to get me to where I want to be, but to maintain those results because I have shifted my identity. I've built up these habits. So now I no longer have to worry about getting fat ever again because it's just not part of who I am anymore. I am not that chubby kid anymore. I'm not that fat person anymore. It is not my identity anymore. I have shifted my identity. I am now the fit person. I'm the person with six-pack abs. I'm the person who eats healthy, who sure maybe brings meal prep, who sometimes is a bit annoying at the restaurants, asking for different tweaks on the menu. But I'm okay with that because this is who I want to be and this is who I am. So as soon as you start, or until you start shifting your identity as someone who actually is fit, as opposed to just going through a quick 6-week challenge, transformation challenge, you will always be stuck. You will always be spinning your wheels in circles, getting nowhere. And that is why I'm so against all these things that I listed at the start here, whether it's Ozempic, fat diets, detox teas, because they don't teach you anything. They get you when you're most excited, probably around New Year's, right? New Year's, new me, or just around a time when you feel like you're at rock bottom and they take advantage of you. You're like, hey, I noticed that you're motivated right now. You just went through a breakup. You just started a new year. You whatever. And they take advantage of that. You're like, okay, let's get you on this 6-week challenge. Let's have you lose a bunch of weight. But I actually think that's going to do you a lot more harm than good because what happens after those 6 weeks? You have this, you've created this deadline for yourself where after the 6 weeks is done, it's like, okay, once this is done, I get to go back to my old habits again. Then I can go back to my normal way of eating again. Then I can go back to reality again. But that is where you go wrong. That is where 80% of people make the mistake because you haven't changed your identity. You're going into this weight loss journey, this fat loss journey, this transformation journey with the identity of a fat person, of an obese person. And you keep on repeating the same mistake over and over again. And you keep thinking to yourself like, oh, maybe it's the challenge. Maybe it was the coach. Maybe it was whatever it was. No, it's on you because you keep going into these challenges with the mindset, with the identity, with the behaviors of a fat person. You will never change with that mindset. So shift your identity and weight loss will never be an issue for you ever again. Part number 5, change your identity. This is the real secret. You cannot outperform your identity. If you see yourself as the guy who always falls off, your brain will find a way to prove that's true. If you keep telling yourself that you're a failure, that you suck at weight loss, that weight loss isn't for me, oh, it'll work for these people, but it'll never work for me because of all these circumstances. I work more hours. I have more children. I have a family. Sure. Keep telling yourself that. It could very well be true. You could have a bit less time than the average Joe. You could be working slightly more average than the average Joe. But would you rather be right or would you rather see the result you're looking for? You could very well be right. But does that actually serve you? Probably not, right? You can tell yourself that you're too busy. You can tell yourself that I don't have time, that I don't have the money, whatever it may be, whatever excuse you want to come up with. But You're just proving to yourself that you are a failure, that you indeed cannot do this. And I don't know about you, but I would rather live a life where I can prove myself wrong, where sometimes I feel scared. I'm like, oh, this is a big investment. I'm not sure if I can do this or not, but I do it anyway. I back myself. I prove myself wrong. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, when I actually put myself in that situation, I succeed. I get through it. Your brain will always find a way to prove whatever you tell yourself is true. But if you start identifying as a man who prioritizes his health, leads by example, and thrives under the discipline, every choice starts to align with that. So ask yourself this question. This is one of my favorite questions I like to ask, not just myself, but then also the clients that I work with. What would the fit version of me do right now? Would he skip the gym or get it done? Would he grab fast food or cook his own meal? That is how you make the shift. One decision at a time. So whenever you lack confidence, whenever you feel tired, whenever you feel lethargic, demotivated, lazy, whatever it may be, ask yourself this question. What would the ultimate version of myself do? Would he sleep in? Would he skip his meals? Would he skip his workout? Would he order junk food? Would he do all these things? Or would the ultimate version of myself do the hard work regardless of how he felt? Eat the healthy meal, do the workouts, get his 8 hours of sleep in, spend time with his family, spend time with his kids. What would the ultimate version of yourself do? And then just do that. The ultimate hack right there. And if you don't have the ultimate version of yourself, just ask yourself, like, I used to do this all the time when I wanted to be a pro soccer player back in high school and in college. And whenever I didn't feel like doing anything, I was like, okay, well, what would Cristiano Ronaldo do right now? What would Lionel Messi do right now? The best, the best, the best, the best of the world. They would probably go to practice. They would probably not go to the party the night before the game and have a good night's sleep. They'd probably start the day with a healthy breakfast. They'd probably do some recovery drills, mobility drills. They'd probably do some stretching at night, right? So ask yourself this question, what would the ultimate version of myself do? And then just align your actions with the actions of that person. And then over time, as you start doing that, you will start to become that type of person. So you no longer have to ask yourself, what would the ultimate version of myself do? You just ask yourself, what would I do? Because now you've become that person through that transformation because you've done it so often. So now you don't really have to rely on willpower or on discipline or on motivation. You are just living your life. You are now the man who runs marathons, who does bodybuilding shows, who eats healthy. You have become that person. You have shifted your identity from a loser, a fat person, or an obese person to now a fit person who does these things, where you will get to a point, I guarantee you, if you actually follow through and stick to this, you will get to a point where I am now, where it feels weird. You feel like you're not yourself anymore if you don't eat healthy, if you don't work out, if you don't exercise. It'll feel weird for you to skip a workout. Now that is the ultimate place to be at. Because if something feels weird to you, like for me, eating junk food feels weird to me. I'm like, this does not belong in my body. This is weird to me. What is this? And my stomach will tell me right away too. I've eaten healthy for so long now, where even if I do eat a cheat meal or eat something that's slightly more processed, I will feel it right away. Like my stomach is so sensitive now where it'll know when it eats crap food. Like it'll tell me right away, and it'll punish me by going to the bathroom or by feeling lethargic or by having a bad sleep or my skin starting to break out. So my body is very, very sensitive to that now, where I don't even want to risk it anymore. I'm like, I know as soon as I eat this slice of pizza, as soon as I eat this block of cheese, even if I drink a glass of milk, I'll feel it right away. So I'm not even willing to take that risk anymore. And I know that by eating a healthy meal, eating unprocessed, healthy, high quality food, that not only my body loves it, my body thanks me for it, my body gives me more energy because of it. My body gives me everything that I want by eating healthy. It gives me the muscle I want, the six-pack abs I want, the quality of the skin that I want, the confidence that I want, the energy that I want, everything that I want comes because of that. So here are my closing thoughts. If you're ready to stop fighting your old habits and finally build a lifestyle that keeps you lean, but not just lean for 6 weeks, lean for life, so weight loss will never become an issue for you, apply for the Barbarian squad. We don't just give you fish, we teach you how to fish so that you can get fit and stay fit for the rest of your life. You won't ever have to get into another program, transformation program, hire another coach ever again. Will help you build the body, the energy, and the confidence of a leader for life. So if you're serious about change, book your free consultation call with me down below, where we'll go over your current goals, we'll go over your current struggles, and create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush them in the next 3 to 6 months. And I'll see you there. Peace.